We are live here, both YouTube on Instagram. We're talking about the patience of life, which is a fitting topic. My new book just came out last Friday. It's taken a while. It kind of came back into play here like a year and a half, where there was suddenly an interest in the book. So suddenly there was an attraction, there was a space that could allow this book to come out. Because in a way, before that, I already wrote this book about 7 years ago. Almost 8 years ago now, but 7. So that's when I saw the potential and it came. But as I also wrote it, I saw that it wasn't time. It wasn't time. The space, the life around me were not ready for this book. It was not ready to come out and be received by society around us. So that's why this book had to kind of be put on the back burner. The book needed to go to rest. So my book came out 7 years ago, but only it was just produced, but I wasn't feeling the connection to. It was written to kind of come more out, to kind of connect with America, to connect with the world. So it was an expansion that was ready, but that the thought was there, the idea was there, but it wasn't ready to be come further out. So I had to let it go, let it rest, and then now almost 7 years later, suddenly there was an interest to get the book out. So that's kind of symbolic that we have different ideas, but it kind of takes patience to let these ideas kind of come, let them kind of manifest. And that's kind of this awakening of life, this life that we kind of connect with. We kind of come into an awakening when we are at birth, but then we're just kind of given a body, we're given a family. So we are awake, and yet the strategies of how to handle the body, the strategies to how to handle our family, our surroundings are kind of given to us, taught upon us from our surroundings, our family, our friends, society, the culture around us. And then we see that gradually we can grow up. So we see that our body can mature, it can be an adult, can step into its power. We can have all these things that an adult have. It has all these different things we can have, like we can have a job, we can be a parent, we can have money, we can have our own house, can be a husband or a wife, can be a leader, we can have friends, we can have a good life. All these things are given, and yet we then feel that it's still it's further ahead. So in a way, we kind of accept that there is some sort of patience. We can't do these things because our body hasn't matured yet. So that is the perfect example of patience, that you see that it's going to take some time before we get to where we want to go. So then gradually we experience the body maturing, growing into its full size and its full activity, and then we are a grown up. Suddenly we are a grown up. Our body is a grown up. And yet we can still experience that even if we're a parent or even if we have a leader, we get a husband or wife, or we get a job, we got a leader position, we might still kind of be a child inside. We might not have the maturity. We don't necessarily know how to run life, how to do it. We did life, we did school, we did our physical body, we did sex, we did relationship, we applied for jobs, we all these things we did based off of the training, or based upon the guidance that we kind of had when we were growing up, the suggestions from our parents, from friends, from society, from culture. And yet we still don't really know if that guidance is good or not, who to trust, what guidance is there. And we might have even forgot what we chose. Because when we are kind of in that pure presence as a little baby, we're so sensitive to, we can just read our parents, read society, emotions, all this. We kind of take it in. We feel it so easily. We sense it. We are aware of it. And then we let it fill us. So we take it in. And then so we believe in it. We dare to believe in things. We don't know if what we believe in is right. It will give us a life forward. We don't know if this is the life we want. So then we start, as we grow up, we start unconsciously, we kind of will be drawn towards, we start choosing compared to what the choices inside of us that we have forgotten because it's so long ago. We chose, oh, I like blue, oh, I like this, or I like that. It's choices that came into us so early that we don't really remember it anymore. So that leads us into a life. Now we have awakened to a mature body, but then we start doing these things that we think, this is what it means to be a grown up. But all these things aren't necessarily, you see, all these different societies in the world, nations in the world, they all have different ideas of how life should be. It should be more masculine, it should be more feminine, it should be more controlled, it should be more free, it should be all these different choices that the people accept in one society. So you see all these different societies have chosen differently. So some bad things in every society and some good things in every society. And that's kind of like the same thing you see in every family. Every family kind of put importance on different things. So every family can be a little different. Some put focus more on money, some put focus more on freedom, some put focus more on control, some put focus more on like power, some on compassion, some on happiness. So as you kind of then start creating your life, then some people might just be unconsciously just happy. That's what you were taught. You don't even know it. It happens so early. Some people just naturally just make a lot of money. Some people just naturally are very compassionate. Some people naturally claim a lot of space, create like big businesses, or go into leadership in the society. So we have all these different ways of living life. And yet you see then that all these different societies also have like they have drama arising. So gradually Norway think, oh, when people are like, Norway is one of the best countries to live in the world. Well, a lot of Norwegians don't necessarily think they're the happiest. They're qualifying kind of how the society is built. It's a good life. And then Americans can feel like they have the best life, they have more freedom. Other people can feel like, well, we have stability. We have a very spiritual society. We have very God focused. So there's we have a very male focused society, or very very female focused society. So then you have all these different societies, and yet so then gradually you see the drama there. Some things work and then other things don't work. So this is kind of life. In your life some things work and then other stuff don't really work. So that is where like you have to do stuff and you have to fail, and then you have to realize that some things have like a lot of tension, a lot of drama, and it attracts a lot of drama. And then when gradually you can kind of go in and experience that drama, and then when it releases, suddenly you're attracting something that has less drama. You might see that there's a potential of growth. A lot of times we think, no, that's just how I am, that's just how we are as Norwegians are, that's just how Americans are. But we come to be able to up level our place, and then we can seek all these guidance. But then a lot of times you see all these people having all these ideas, just like every country has an idea, but you kind of forget that if you look at it, it might look good, but they might also, there's other stuff that doesn't look so good, that don't look good. So it's the same thing with teachers. You go to coaches or psychologists and all this stuff, or philosophers, and then they have stuff that works, but they might not necessarily own it. They might not have gone into a maturity themselves. So that is where we can look at different philosophies, different ways of assessing what is important. We don't even know if we can see it clearly. Sometimes we have to fuck up. We have to kind of see that we're stuck before we open ourselves up to maybe there's a different way. We can open ourselves to experience life differently. So that's where the ease of life is coming in. That for me, when I realized that life in itself is choice, that when we start daring to honor that we are not perfect, that's when we can open up to kind of release and allow these inner choices, this inner tension, this inner righteousness, this inner guidance, that we can start kind of seeing a different way of doing it. So that is where patience comes in. We have to kind of remove ourselves a little bit from situations, from our work, from our relationship, and see how can we connect. What do we want? What do we believe in? What do other people believe in? So in this process we can come to awaken more. We can start to see what is to live maturely. What is maturity? Can we love our body? Can we love others? Can we love life? Can we honor others? Can we honor ourselves? Can we honor our body? Can we honor work? Can we create simplicity? Something that works effortlessly, that you don't have to be there all the time, that you don't have to control it, that you can trust your husband or wife, or you can trust your kids, or you can trust your work, or you can trust your body? Or do you need to kind of control it all the time, is it's fragile. Medical doctors say the body is so fragile, it needs to be eaten like this or it needs that. And we have all these ideas that have kind of been accepted as truth, and yet it's just a philosophy, because when you look at all the different societies, they have different philosophies of how you engage. So that is where kind of we can step into the ease of life, of actually seeing that we can actually become, with this patience, in this maturity, we can dare to look at ourselves, we can dare to accept that not everything is perfect, and we can also start opening up for like a guidance, an inner guidance, the inner wisdom, and that we can kind of start daring to open up to faith, open up to love, open up to being. And then in that connection, our body, our life, our all these ideas can kind of become more and more one. We can connect, instead of saying I like this and I like that, but gradually when we start allowing ourselves to connect with everything, it can kind of, we can renew and we can release and we can heal it, and it can come in. And that's where, instead of just hunting after life, we can actually start moving our body in a way where we relax. When we relax, we actually move not just forward, we also move backwards. So we're letting it, with patience, kind of grow, like from compassion and from understanding. Like a plant, when you water it not too much, just enough, and letting it, and if there's certain flowers that fall off and certain leaves that fall off, you collect them up and you dare to kind of give it time to mature, give it time to grow. So that's kind of what we're doing here with our body. We're giving it time to mature, time to grow. So that is, we're not just going up, we're also going down. We're not just going forward, we're also going backwards. So that is where the body actually, we can see how we can kind of connect from presence. As a small child, we're just presence. But now we're coming in and we're noticing that presence, then we're seeing life, we're noticing life. And we can kind of realize that life is all around us. But then in that moment we open up to that, suddenly we can be filled with energy, because energy is our connection. When we relax and we're here, our body gets filled with energy, gets filled with just this moment, not just wanting, desiring all these emotions. So we're instead kind of letting it return to the now. And from there, we can open into being. And as we allow this being to kind of come in, then gradually from our being, we can step into body being, where we can kind of allow ourselves to step into life. With our whole body, we can dare to kind of make love to life. We can, so it becomes a connection. We embrace life. So we go both in and out, and it becomes this gentle embrace. So that is how we can start to connect with all parts of our life. Whether it's our lovers, whether it's our kids, whether it's our parents, friends, family, our work, our body, everything can become this gentle embrace. And that's when you start feeling this ease going through our system, this ease, this gentle energy opening us up, just like a flower. But we have to do it gradually, because we're just like these teenagers. We see that there's more stuff that can be released. So that's where patience comes in. That this isn't just a rush after enlightenment. This is a daring to not focus on that, but instead allowing ourselves to grow and to be nurtured and guided from this inner being, from this inner wisdom, and letting this embrace just gradually awaken us. So it comes from a different place. So you can probably close your eyes now if you haven't already done it. We're kind of going into this second part where we're kind of allowing, as I talk, this is also just kind of a reminder that we can connect, a reminder that we can enjoy, a reminder that life is effortless. It can be effortless. Not everything needs to be felt effortless, because sometimes when we connect something, we feel emotions of sadness or anxiousness or desire or anger or frustration. That's our connection to life. And then gradually, when we let it relax, we can allow these emotions to come through the system. And then we can suddenly feel that we don't need to know how everything is supposed to go. This is a faith to the inner wisdom, allowing ourselves to kind of embrace even if things feel wrong or right, too good or too bad, too masculine, too feminine. It is that balance that we can have when we start, no matter what, we stay centered in our own presence, in our own being, in our own body. So that's where we're headed. So just close your eyes and drop your shoulders and shake the shoulders loose. Shakes the hips, shake the hips. And yes, it kind of comes in like just a breath of just an opening in the space around us, just like a wind, freshness coming in, just like the sound shifts or the light in the room shifts, or you just suddenly fall asleep, or you just come alive or awake, or suddenly clarity comes, or just you just step back and just let everything be. There's different ways to connecting. And you just kind of let it come up into your chest, up into your hips, up into your mouth, your jaw, through the system, just like a yawn, just like a cat, opening up, allowing the morning to awaken you, allowing energy to awaken you. Good. We are done for today. There's some patience out there in space. As we go deeper, we start seeing new energies coming up to be released, to be digested, to let it go through the system so that clarity eventually can come. In patience, we suddenly see how things can shift. Great. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening in. If you watch this later, You might, I love a comment or two, or a like, or a or a follow, or a share, whatever you feel like. And for those who donate, thank you for your donations. Have a beautiful day, guys.